by the end of this video, you're going to learn how to build your first AI agent. I'm gonna teach you how to set up Claude Code, what skills are, and most importantly, the thinking behind building agents like the one we're gonna build. Because once you get that, you can build any agent for any business in any niche. And at the end, I'm gonna show you how to take what we built here and push it even further on your own. So what is an AI agent? It's actually very simple. You give it a job and it figures out how to do it on its own. You don't tell it every step. You give it a goal and it goes and does research, it makes decisions, and it gives you the finished result. The way we do that with Claude is through something called skills. A skill is like a playbook you'd give a new employee. You write it once and from that point on, Claude follows it every time you give it that specific task. And that's what we're building today. We're gonna take my company, Ardona, an AI automation agency, and build an agent that creates Instagram content for it. From the ideas to captions to the actual posts. And we're gonna do this through simple instructions. We won't write a single line of code. So what exactly is Claude Code? See, right here on the official docs, it says that it's an agentic coding tool. But it's much more than this. People are now using it to automate their day-to-day work. Basically, they create these little units called skills, which execute things the way they do it manually. And it got pretty simple to do so. I'm gonna show you how to set it up in the IDE, and we're gonna be using it there. If you don't know what an IDE is, this basically was used for coding in the past. It's just an app where you organize your files and write the code. But now, again, it's used for so much more. You don't even need to look at the code it generates. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is to go ahead and search for VS Code. I'll link it in the description below as well. Go ahead and download it for the right operating system. I'm using a Mac, so I'm gonna download the Mac version. Then go ahead and install it, drag it to your apps. I already have it, so I'm just gonna stop the process here, but make sure you finish it. Then go ahead and open it. You should see an interface similar to this one, depending on the version you have. All of them should have the same functionality, so don't worry if it looks a bit different. Then you have some tabs right here on the left side. For example, the first one is your Project Explorer. Here we'll see our files. And Claude Code works on a specific folder on your PC, so it has access to the files you have there. Now, for these projects, we're gonna create a new one. So click right here on Open Folder. Then go wherever you want to create a new one. Press on New Folder and give it a name. I'm gonna name mine Ardona-content. And then create it. Awesome, now you can click on Open. Next, we're gonna install Claude Code. So basically what you have to do is go right here on Extensions, search for Claude Code. Awesome, now click on Install. Now two things happen. So you have this new button here that you can press and it will open Claude. And you have this new item on the left side, Claude Code. Just go ahead and press on it and click on New Session. And it will open this right here on the right side. See, it's just a chat box, just like ChatGPT so far. So you can talk to it directly here. Now the difference is that this acts like an agent. So basically it makes decisions instead of just answering a question. Okay, now you can go back to the File Explorer right here. So we can start building our agentic workflows. Now it will ask you to log in. I think I was already logged in because I uninstalled the extension just before to show you how to install it. It's a straightforward process. It will open the login in the browser. You must pay on the Pro subscription for this to work. It costs around 20 bucks a month if I'm not mistaken. But it's definitely gonna change how you work because it did for me. Alright, so we are ready. But before we build anything, we need to figure out what we're actually gonna build. So I'm gonna do what I do every time I start a new project. I'm gonna ask Claude to do some research for me. So I'm just gonna give it this prompt. I have an AI agency called Ardona.ai. I want to create the content on Instagram for it, but first I would like to define what type of content should I make. Search online to see what types of content other AI agencies post. Okay, let's send it and let's see what it does. Okay, so it's asking me if I want to allow some search queries. So this is the default behavior of Claude. It will ask you to approve stuff. You can start it in a mode that they call dangerous something, in which you don't need to approve anything, they just do the things. I prefer to see what it does and just approve the steps manually. And now it just searches other AI agencies and it tries to find what they post on Instagram. Okay, so it defined what we have to post, carousels and then reels and then stories. We're not gonna create reels in this tutorial because it's a bit complex and it might get too long, but I'll do it in a future video. But we're gonna create carousels and image posts, and then it gives us the content pillars. Exactly what we have to post. So step-by-step tutorials, 5 ways to do something, AI tool comparisons, framework explainers, awesome, then case studies and results, then some behind the scenes, then thought leadership, awesome, memes and relatable, we're not gonna build memes for this type of content, then service showcases and pain point content. These are some awesome ideas that I could have never thought of maybe. And then it gave us a recommended content mix for Adona.ai. Now we could just tell it to create this content for us, to create a post that we can just take and put on Instagram, right? But we're not gonna do that because we'd have to give it a lot of context for every single post that we're gonna do. And we want something repeatable. We want it to take 2 minutes instead of a few hours to just do one single post. So we're gonna build a skill, the thing I was talking to you earlier about. But again, I don't know exactly what to post. I know the pillars, but I don't have any idea of what content I should post. So our first skill will be a simple one. Awesome, now that we have this, let's give it our input. So we're not gonna post reels, we're gonna stick with carousels and image posts, maybe also stories. I like all the content pillars, so stick to these. And now we're just giving it some more context of what we want. But now if I open a new session, then Claude will forget all about it. So what it does, it creates a file right here in this folder, which is project Instagram strategy.md. MD is just a file format. Okay, so let's allow the write. If it doesn't create the file for you, you can explicitly tell it to create it. Okay, so right here on the left side, it created this folder .claude, and inside it has these new 2 files it created, project Instagram strategy and user role. Now it's trying to create a memory.md file that it can reference later. Now if you want to see these files in a more readable context, just right click and open preview and you'll see them like this. Now let's check the project Instagram strategy, open preview. It added the pillars, the content mix, and how to apply. Awesome. And then the user role, it added some details about us, so it can reference it in new agents with 0 context. Now I'm not giving you these prompts I'm using because I want you to learn how to think about this, because the prompts that work for my business maybe won't work for yours. But if you understand the thinking behind it, then you can build this for anyone. Okay, now that we have a quick content strategy, this is not final, we're gonna update it as we go, as we see things. Let's build a skill that gives us content ideas, because I have the pillars, I have the content formats, but I don't exactly know what to post. So we're gonna tell it to create a skill. And it knows how to do so because Anthropic Claude defined the standard for it. Now inbuilt it has another skill that's called skill creator that has context of the structure, so it's repeatable. Now create a skill that based on project Instagram strategy.md creates 10 ideas for my Instagram posts. Make sure these ideas are not copies of old ones, so also reference the old ideas you created. And then I told it where to store these. Okay, send. It's trying to create some directories for these skills, so let's just allow it. See, it created this directory right here with another one inside called generate ideas. Okay, awesome, it is done. Now it defined the steps that the skill does, so it loads your content strategy from memory, from right here. It reads all existing ideas in content ideas to avoid duplicates, which is awesome. And then it generates 10 new ideas distributed across your pillars. And then it saves them right here in content ideas. And then it tells you how to use it. Now we can look at the file. You can just right click it and open preview. This skill.md, this is the brain of the skill. This is a standard format that these skills use. We're gonna add more things in the next skills we're gonna build because they're gonna get a bit more complex. And then in here, it has a breakdown of the steps we just read and how it does every single one. Okay, now let's use the skills. So this chat window doesn't have context of this new skill you created. So you need to open a new session by clicking on this button here. If you don't have it here, just click here and start a new session. Awesome. Close the old one. And now let's run the skill. So in order to run it, you have to write slash and then the skill name. For me is generate ideas. This one, see, it already finds it. Now you can navigate here with your arrow keys. And if you want to select something, you can just press tab and then you can tell it to run. See? We didn't give it any context in the prompt. It has the context in the skill.md file, and we don't have to give it context in the future. Every Sunday when we want to get some ideas for our content, we will just have to type generate ideas run, and it will take 1 minute instead of half an hour or more. Awesome, let's check the content ideas. Let me just right click it and open preview. So we have the first one, the AI automation stack every business needs in 2026. We have the pillar, we have the format, and we have the hook, and then an outline of the idea. If it's a carousel, then we're gonna have the slides. And if it's an image, let's see what it did. Okay, just some guidelines. Awesome. Okay, so most of them are carousels, and these are a bit complex to build. I'm gonna show you how to do so in a few minutes. There's one thing missing. I also want the caption here. I want the Instagram caption to be generated in here. So update the generate ideas skill to also add the Instagram caption. Make sure we don't use AI slang and no minus between sentences. See this one right here. I hate this, and you definitely know it's AI if somebody sends this. Okay, it didn't understand exactly what we were saying about these lines. Let's just copy this and tell it. No, I mean in our captions, I don't want to have lines in the middle of the sentences. It's updated. Captions will now avoid dashes as punctuation with sentences, using periods or commas instead. Awesome, this is exactly what we wanted. Okay, let's delete the all content ideas. So right click and delete, and let's run it again. Open a new session so it doesn't have context of it, so we can test it on a clean slate. Again, click right here, new session, close the old one, generate ideas, and then just tell it to run. Okay, it's saved, so go right here to File Explorer and let's right click, open preview and check it. Okay, this is the old one, let's close it and open the new one. Okay, so it was cached for me, so I had to close it and then open it again a few times, but now it's working. So we have the pillar, we have the format, we have the hook, then we have the outline, then a CTA, and then we have the caption. Awesome. Let's actually start to build these posts. So we need to create a skill that generates these images. We're gonna start with the image posts, and then we're gonna go to carousels. So again, I'm not a designer, I don't know how to edit images, I don't know what to put on them, I don't know colors, I don't know all that stuff. So let's make it ask us a few questions that will help us configure our context. So we need to create a new skill that generates the image posts and links them to the specific idea. So starting from an idea, we're gonna create the image, but I have no clue how to define my visual style. Can you ask me questions with options? So we do that together. And now it gave us this form here. So what overall mood should the visuals convey? I usually go with a dark and techy mood. That's what I'm doing on my YouTube. But for this one, I'm gonna go with bold and high energy. Then for colors, actually I'm gonna use the colors of my brand because I might use this in production later. So I just paste my color codes and I told it to use this for accents. Now let's go to typography. We're gonna use the clean fonts. And now, should a post include photography or illustrations? Okay, I want AI generated visuals, but I also want text. So let's just choose other, AI generated visuals plus text, and let's submit the answers. Now it's asking me a few more questions. For the background style, I'm gonna go with a mix. Then for layout, I'm just gonna go with this one. I also want a subtle watermark for my content. Now it's asking me what style fits my brand. Abstract and geometric, never choose this with AI. Then 3D renders, these look very cinematic, so I want these. I don't know if I also want photorealistic scenes. Let's just choose other. So mostly 3D renders, and I added some details here, cinematic elements, plus some photorealistic scenes. And now let's submit the answers. Okay, now it's asking us for the aspect ratios, so let's go with this one. What tool should the skill use to generate the images? Create the prompt and then run it in a script. I need you to create a script that integrates with Gemini's new model Nano Banana 2. I think this is the best one for images. Search online for the exact model name and how to use it. Okay, now let's submit the answers again. And now it's gonna go ahead and create a skill. Now it's searching online for this model I was talking about, and it found the model name. And now it's trying to read the documentation for how to create a code. Now it's creating a memory file, project visual style. Awesome. It added it right here. Okay, these are not the colors I wanted to paste. Seems like I pasted the wrong ones. We'll just modify them, no problem. Okay, it is done. It gives us what we need to do now. So first we need to install the libraries, but we won't do this. We'll let it do it itself. Then we need the Gemini API key. This one we really do need because it's gonna integrate with that to generate the actual images. And then it tells us how to use the skill. Okay, so the one thing we have to do is get this Gemini API key. So head to Google, search for AI Studio, or click the link in the description below. You can just register with your Gmail account. It's gonna be a straightforward process. It's gonna be pretty simple. Then press on Get API Key. Now you'll need to set up billing because this image generations cost, I think it's around 10 cents per photo. It will create a default billing account for you, but you need to set up your card information. Then press on API Keys right here and click on Create API Key. Give it a name. I'm gonna name mine Ardona Content, so I know exactly what it's used for. And then choose a project. I'm just gonna choose the default one that Google creates for us, default Gemini project. You should see it as well. And then click on Create Key. You can see the name right here. It's this one. Let me make it a bit bigger. And now by clicking on this button right here, you can copy it. So just go ahead and copy the API key. By the way, don't share it with anyone. Anyone who has it will have access to using Gemini through your account. So you're gonna pay for another person's usage. Okay, keep it for yourself. Store it somewhere safe. Go back to Visual Studio Code and let's create a new file. See, right here you have a button for new file. Press on it, give it this specific name .env, and now type Gemini underline API underline key equals, and then paste your key and then save it. I'm only sharing my key here because I'm gonna delete it. Don't do this. Now we can go back to our chat. I've added the API key inside the .env file. And now it updated the environment so it uses the specific key. Okay, and it is done. Let's check the skill it created. So inside .Claude, inside skills, it added this generate images skill. Let's check it, right click, open preview. So it has the steps it needs in order to run. It's validating the arguments, then it's loading the visual style. It's verifying the dependencies. If we have installed these Python packages, we're not gonna install them ourselves, we're gonna let it do its job, and then it's gonna run the generation script for that specific image. It also defined an awesome folder structure so we can find our content quickly. Okay, awesome. Now we can actually test the skill. Now for me, it generated this Python script right here, generate images.py. This is the code it's gonna run when it generates a specific image. Now for you, it might look a bit different. It might not even be a Python script, it might be a Node script. Now, in order for these scripts to run on your PC, Claude will try to install Python or Node. So let's open a new session to run the skill. So click right here and then new session. Select the skill, it's called image, generate images. And let's check exactly what image we're gonna generate. So let's go back to our ideas file, ideas.md, open preview. Let's check for an image one. Okay, so pose number 3. So now let's go back to our chat, and now we have to reference the ideas file. So in order to do that, you need to write @ just like you do on social media, and then write ideas. And right here, you'll find the folders as well. See, you have the folder name. It's the one for today. Select it. And then tell it which idea you want it to generate. Number 3. See how little context we gave it? Because we took the time to create these skills, now we don't have to brainstorm the ideas every time. We don't have to specify our style guide every time and all that stuff. It just takes 30 seconds to do so. It actually threw an error, so this agent doesn't have context of the old one, so it doesn't know that our .env file has the Gemini API key, so let's tell it. I've added it to .env, and now it's gonna run the actual script. Yes, let's allow the changes. Okay, so it worked from the first try, the image was generated successfully. Abstract, it generated it with abstract 3D geometric network elements. I don't like this word at all when it comes to image generation, but let's see if we like it or if we have to adjust the style. We have this images folder here, and we can just open by clicking on it. AI won't replace you, but someone using AI will. And then it added our website. I mean, it looks okay. I don't know what else it could have done better for this post specifically. So let's keep using it, let's keep testing it, and we'll modify them as we go. This is a powerful thing about Claude. As you use these things you create, you also improve them. Now that we have the image generation skill, let's actually improve it a bit. So I wanted to add a logo here. And now actually let's not do it ourselves. Let's ask Claude to do it for us. So I want to send the Ardona logo with a prompt for the image, so it adds it there. How can we modify the skill to do so, and what do I need to do? So add your Ardona logo as a PNG file to the project. Awesome, let's do so. So it tells us to add it in assets. Let's create a new folder, assets. Right, you have a button for creating a new folder right here. Let's call it assets. Now let me just find my logo right here. Let me just drag and drop it, and we are ready to go. I've updated the logo, changed the script. Okay, let's test it, but first let's open a new session again. Generate images, go right here back in the Explorer so we see the file names. Now reference the ideas, this one inside the current date folder. And now let's choose another one. So let's open preview and find another image idea. Okay, this one, we tried AI and it didn't work. I forgot to tell you that I don't want memes, but let's just test them out, maybe I like them. And let's choose idea number 7. Okay, it gave us the same error with Gemini API key. It's added to the .env file, added to the skill as a step, so you don't ask me every time we generate an image for it. So this is what I was talking about earlier. When we use a skill, we find things that we can improve. And as we use it more, it gets better. It's done, now let's just click on it. Though we tried AI and it didn't work, starter pack. Awesome. It has our logo right here. Now, let's also start generating the carousels, which are our main content source. This one is a bit more complex because the slides need to have the same format. So if we send 7 prompts for 7 images, we might get a different outlay. So let's think about it for a bit. How do you think we could solve this? We could send the previously generated slide to the current one's prompt, and we only generate the first one without sending the previous one because it doesn't exist. So let's try and do so. So we need to create a new skill that generates carousel posts for Instagram based on the ideas we have generated from the generate idea skill. Now we have a skill that generates single images, but this one feels a bit more complex. How do you think we can implement it? Generate each slide as a separate Gemini call. We don't want this. Feed forward with reference image. This is actually what we've thought about earlier. And then template based composting. For this one we have to define the slide templates before, and I don't want to do that. It says that we should start with approach 2. So okay, go ahead and implement it with approach 2. Make sure it references our style files, and let's send it. So before I approve this, it started testing the new Python script it created, the one for generate carousels, and then it found the problem. I didn't tell it to test it. It found the problem and then it started fixing it itself. This is called self-healing. This is what an agent does. Okay, now let's open a new session and let's test it. So this is a new skill. Let's check it right here. Generate carousels. It added the skill MD file. We can open the preview. It has the steps, mainly the same steps as generate images. And then it also added this new script here, generate carousel. Let's check if it works. So go ahead and write /generate carousels, then press tab. And now let's find the carousel idea that we like. So head back to ideas.md, open preview. You're spending 10+ hours a week on tasks I can do in minutes. And then give some tool ideas. Awesome, let's try this one. Reference the idea file, this one from today's date. For us it's number 1. So let's go ahead and execute it. This one might take a bit longer because it has how many slides? Let's see. It has 7 slides. Okay, so it's gonna generate 7 images. And we're spending around 10 cents per image, so it's gonna cost us a bit, but that's okay. We're not doing volume. You'll have to check how much it costs for yourself. I'm so happy that it failed. So slide 1 was generated successfully, but the script crashed on slide 2. Awesome. And now it tries to self-heal. I mean, I'm not glad that it fails. I'm glad that we can see how it self-heals. All of them are done. So let's just open the first one. Okay, it's in the same style as the first image. It's a bit techish for me, but it's an AI agency, so that's okay. Then you're spending 10+ hours a week on tasks AI can do in minutes. Awesome. The second one, still manually emailing, you're losing money. Okay, it's too much text. Nobody will read this. It also made a mistake on slide 5. It added our logo. It looks fine, but I don't like the style. Okay, so let's change the style a bit. I don't just want text on my images. So all of the slides have a punchy big text in the middle. I don't want this for my posts. I also want dashboard and 3D UI elements floating around, cinematic. Maybe some icons as well. I don't want this punchy text anymore for my posts, okay? What do we have to edit? Because let's say that 2 weeks passed and I don't remember where I have stored my visual style. Let's see what it suggests we do. So it told me what I have to change and it's asking me if I want it to make these changes itself. I told it to do so, but asked me questions first, so we defined the new style together. Okay, glass morphism style UI panels. I'm gonna go with this option here. We want to keep some text because I still want it. If we see that it's still not working fine, then we'll go to minimal text only, but for now let's keep some text. Gradient rich. And then for complexity, hook slides gets a rich scene for attention, content slides get a single focused element, and CTA slides are minimal. I love this option right here. So let's submit our answers. Let's wait for it to update our skill, and then we're gonna run it again and see what it changed. Now let's delete the idea1 folder here. So right click it and delete. Awesome. And let's try and generate maybe the same idea to see the difference. Okay, let's go with the same idea. So let's open a new session, write generate carousels, tab, and then reference the ideas file, this one, tab again, and then 1. It's done, so let's check them out. Okay, so the first one looks awesome. Now the second one, what is this? So it just says email automation AI. So we have to improve it further, tell it to add some text on the images. If you still have this session open, where you updated the skills, so let's send it the slides. So you can drag and drop them, keep shift pressed, and then put it here. And let's drag and drop a few of them. Okay, so this is awful. The first one looks fine, but the other ones, nobody can understand what is there. It needs to have text as well as some elements, but the text needs to be the main thing there. And then I gave it one more suggestion. Let's use terminal like UI elements. And then I'm asking it, what do we need to update? As you can see, when you create skills and use them, you'll find problems, but you just have to adjust and try to fix them to get to the best result. And if you wanted ChatGPT to create these images for you, you'd go through the same process, but then when you repeat the step for the second time, you'd go through the same problems. Now, the advantage of Claude is that if we save these inside skills, then we only have to go through these problems once. Okay, we want text inside UI panels. For this one I selected glass morphism. And then for typography, let's make it clean and modern. Okay, let's submit the answers. It had this prompt, you are a 3D artist. We don't need a 3D artist, we need a graphic designer. Okay, so this was, I think, the main problem this time. Now it's asking me if I want to regenerate idea 1, so let's just delete the folder and tell it yes. This is another way you can call skills, you don't have to reference them each time, because if the context window has context of them, then it knows the files it needs to know. Okay, so I'm just looking now as it generates them. This is the first one. It looks much cleaner. The 5 AI tools every small business should be using right now. Looks good for a post. I was looking at the scripts here and it seems like we send the instructions directly in the script, but I want Claude to generate these instructions. I think this is the main problem we have. Now for slide 2, AI can automate your entire email funnel. Looks good, you have some email graphics here. It's much better than the first 2 tries. Okay, this is the third one. Now let's stop it and actually tell it. Okay, so I think I found the problem. You are sending the prompt in the script directly. Don't do that. I need you to create the prompt and then send it as a parameter to the script. Add this as a skill step, and we need to update both image generation and carousel generation. Okay, so it's updating the scripts to remove the prompt, and now it's updating the skill to handle prompt crafting. So we're gonna use Claude as an agent to handle the prompts for image generation. Okay, so it is done. So it updated both generate images.py and generate carousels.py, and it says that there's no generate images skill yet, but it's right here. And then we just reference it. So skill, and then the one from generate images, this one, and send it. No more hard-coded templates. Want me to test it out by regenerating ideas 1 carousel? Sure. Now let me just delete this really fast. Now this time it's not done yet, but it created this prompt.json file and it created the prompts itself dynamically, so we don't hardcode them in the script, which is great, but let's see what it does further. Okay, it started generating them. This is slide 1. It looks much better. This one looks great. This is something I would post actually, but let's see if it does the same for the next slides as well. Tool 1, email automation, setup. Okay, this is really simple, this is really clean, I like the UI, this one looks awesome. Slide 3, tool 2, AI scheduling. It has some scheduling elements in the background. I love this one. They look alike, so that's great. Our strategy with taking the previously generated slide and sending it to the current one worked great. Slide 4, tool 3, customer support chatbots. Again, awesome, and it has some chatbot elements floating around. We are on the 4th try, I think, and we already got something that we can use in production. How crazy is that? Now, what we just built is already useful, see? But this is just the starting point. This is a small agentic workflow. Now, if you want to keep going, here's what you can build from here. You can build a skill that generates stories for Instagram in the right format. Then you can build a content repurposer skill that takes your Instagram posts and repurposes them for LinkedIn, Facebook, even TikTok. You can have that video carousel image TikToks that I always swipe by mistake and I always end up in some ads. And you can build another skill that helps you plan your content in a calendar. And now Claude finished generating all the slides, so let's check the 6th one. Invoice processing, this one looks great as well. And then the CTA slide, which is very simple. Save this for later and follow up on other this one is great. Awesome. And if you want to go deeper on Claude Code, how it works, what it can do, and what you can build with it, then go and watch this video next. See you there.